Thank you, good evening, and thanks for having us. My name is Matt Gardi. I'm currently the Technology Director at the Office of the State Attorney. Prior to that, I've worked for the Public Defender, the U.S. Navy, the U.S. Army, and I've run my own business down on Duval Street. I also have written for Key West the newspaper as a columnist, and I currently write for Comp Life as a columnist as well. I'm originally from Vermont, and back in the 1990s I served in the Burlington, Vermont City Council, and as well was appointed to the Burlington, Vermont Board of Finance. My campaign is really summarized in three things: technology, transparency, and track record. When I speak about technology, the clerk's office has a lot of good things going for it, but the place where it needs the most improvement is in technology, both in ways that we can make things better for the public service and also to save money. I have a track record in technology. Transparency is putting line item budgets and inventory online so the public can see what's going on in your county, and differentiating between accounting and accountability and holding our officials accountable. And I do that in most of my columns in the newspapers I've written for, as I've been a critic of government agencies. And we'll talk more about that later.
Amy, you're next. Hi everybody, I'm Amy Heavilin, and I too am running for the Clerk of the Court. It's been nearly 30 years since we've had a choice in this particular race. If we base a decision on credentials, I think the decision becomes much easier. I'm the only candidate in the race who's a licensed certified public accountant. I'm the only candidate with 14 years experience as the Chief Financial Officer. I have a master's degree in accounting. I also am a member of the Internal Auditors Association and the Fraud Examiners Association. I'm a past graduate of Monroe County Leadership Class 20 and also served on the American Red Cross Board for many years. Please, I can do it better, faster, and more cost-effective for the taxpayers. Please choose Amy Heavilin as your next Clerk of the Courts.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kevin Madok, and I've lived in the Keys for 13 years, the last 8 of which has been working with the current clerk, Danny Coolidge, in the clerk's finance department. The clerk's most important responsibility is managing the overall finances of the county, a $375 million budget. This is where the clerk actually rolls up his sleeves and works in the office every day. Danny Coolidge understands the importance of this. That's why he has endorsed my candidacy as your next clerk. I also received the endorsement from the Ocean Reef Political Action Committee. They actually talked to all of us before they made their decision. I am prepared to be your next clerk. Because of my experience, I have the ability to carry on the tradition of excellence established by Danny Coolidge. Thank you.
Thanks, Pam. Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to be here. The job is called Clerk of Courts. Remember that name, Clerk of Courts. There's a reason it's called Clerk of Courts and not called Chief Accountant. And that's because the 95 people who work at the Clerk of Courts office, 75 of them support the legal and court system. Of 926 functions of the Clerk of Courts, 80% of those are legal and court-related functions. We have some highly qualified accountants here, but I am the only one with 23 years of experience practicing law. I also have credentials in government finance as well, so I have that side covered. But it is the Clerk of Courts, and I'm the one who has the experience in that area to bring the appropriate skills to the job. Thank you.
Matt, you get the first question. As the custodian of the county funds and county auditor, the Clerk of the Court has tremendous responsibility for the management and investment of county funds. What safeguards do you propose to protect us?
That's a great question. I think it's important to look at those funds because one of the things you don't hear a lot about in this campaign is the fact that we are actually heavily invested in government-sponsored enterprises such as Fannie Mae and the Federal Home Loan Bank. How many people in here would invest in European banks right now? And the reason I bring that up is because you are invested in European banks right now, and that's one of the biggest crises facing our world is what's going on in Europe. And our funds, through how we invest, and increasing investments in Fannie Mae and Farmer Home Loan Bank and other GSEs, a great portion of our investment turns out to be indirectly invested in banks. You have to be aware of those kind of things. You have to look at safer ways. And I'm going to stop. Thank you.
Amy, you want to promote the use of technology to improve efficiency and create a cost-effective system. Part of this improvement in efficiency is an e-filing system. How can you ensure that people with problems using computers will not be abandoned by this new technology?
Hi everybody, there's actually some special revenue funds that allow that the source of those funds can only be used for technology and technology upgrades. So as the e-filing, as that's implemented and we go into that system, you know, as technology changes, we have special revenue funds that will allow us to keep up with the day-to-day changes of technology. So, you know, that won't come out of the taxpayers' pocketbooks. Thank you.
Kevin, having worked at the Clerk of the Courts for the last 8 years under Danny Coolidge, what would you differently than your old boss, and how would you implement these changes?
He's not here, is he? I would say exactly differently, but I don't view the office as a static entity. The state is going through a statewide initiative to bring the 21st technology to the court system. It's not just e-filing, it's the whole process through the court system. It's an integrated statewide endeavor, and that's going to take expertise in technology. I have a computer science minor from the University of San Diego. I understand the technology, and I will be very active in promoting those upgrades.
Stuart, you have said that Monroe County government still suffers from its habit of catering to special interest influences. What changes would you make to promote more transparency in government and fair and equitable treatment of the citizens?
30 seconds or less? 30 seconds? 60 seconds. That's a great question. One of the things that the clerk does get to do is act as this independent watchdog entity. And the thing you do not want to do, which would be a real step back in this election, is elect somebody who's not fully independent and will cater to special interests, whether they be problems already existing in the clerk's office or the sheriff's department. Those linkages, I'm not saying anything's wrong, but should not be in there. And the most critical thing you can do within my 30 seconds, I could talk about this for 10 minutes, is elect somebody who's independent and has a record of standing up for what's right, no matter what the consequences.
Now, each one of you have 30 seconds to an ending statement or refute or whatever, and we will go ahead and start with you.
One of the most important things I'd like to stress is track record. And you've heard a lot of talk about technology in this brief moment up here. I have a track record at the State Attorney's Office of implementing technology and creating cost savings. It does need to get done at the clerk's office, and I have a career and a degree and experience in actually doing it. The county budget that our executive director presented was 8% down just now at the budget hearing, and that's absolutely primarily due to cost savings that I implemented in our office utilizing technology. I can do it at the clerk's office, and it's more than just a minor from 1984 in computer science. It's a career, and I've done it, I've proven it. Please check out my website, mattgardi.com. I appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Better, faster, cost-effective. I can do it better, faster, and cost-effective for the taxpayers. Please remember Amy Heavilin on August 14th as your next Clerk of the Courts.
This county has been blessed to have someone like Danny Coolidge safeguarding your tax dollars for the past 29 years. In a few months, we're going to be spending $18 million per quarter on the Cudjoe Regional System. We could put someone in the clerk's office that has no idea what's going on. I've been involved in the planning and cash flow analysis of this project since the beginning. I provide this smooth transition, not only for this project, but all of the county finances going forward. Please vote for me, Kevin Madok, on the August 14th primary. Thank you.
We're going to get Stuart up here in just about 2 seconds, but the next race is going to be mosquito-controlled #1. So Stuart, would you like to give your ending statement?
Thank you very much, and thank you for being here this evening. I just would like to say that my track record, my most recent thing that I'm doing currently is chairman of the Audit and Finance Committee of the school board. If you've read the papers at all, you know my track record there. I always did the right thing no matter what the political impact was, no matter what the consequences were, and I stood up for the taxpayers, and that's exactly what I would continue to do and like to do as your clerk of courts. Look for more information about me on kesslerforclerk.com. Thank you.
Tell us your qualifications to advise the BOCC to handle the staff and administration duties.
Staff of the clerk's office of the county itself.
It says to advise the Board of County Commissioners
Well,
to handle the staff and administration duties. Okay.
I believe that the clerk really, in some ways, shouldn't really be micromanaging the board, but they should really work to be as transparent as possible and call on the commission when they see deficits in leadership. As an example of that, recently I was before the commission showing a problem with the way they account for their inventory. Now, it's really the board's responsibility to address it and not just bypass and not accept any responsibility. And as someone who's been a journalist, that's exactly what I would articulate. And as the clerk, I would use the position to.
Okay. All right, this is a question for Amy. Amy, because of your close relationship with the sheriff's office, how would you prove and then maintain independence from them?
The sheriff and the clerk are both elected constitutional officers. The clerk and the sheriff have very distinct and separate roles. The clerk does not have any oversight over the sheriff as a constitutional officer or any other constitutional officer. The role of the clerk is to the Board of County Commissioners. He is their internal auditor to perform audits on their operations, not on their financial issues. He already accounts for their financials. Actually all 5 constitutional officers have to get an external audit.
Looks really fast now. Okay.